couple of days ago, I recorded an entire episode on the minimum resistance principle. The idea that the harder you make something, the less likely you are to do it. Now, I recorded said episode on my laptop because if you saw my last video, I was on the road. I was going to be filming from a different location, aka my mom's attic, and my laptop crashed. My cloud storage was full, my phone was full, and I lost all the videos that I had recorded on my laptop. So I didn't post for several days while I was out of town because of resistance. On the episode about resistance, I could not have planned this better if I tried. Hello, my beautiful entrepreneurs. My name is Tabitha Bear, and this is A Hot Mess Builds an Empire. I let you know at the beginning of every episode that I have absolutely no idea what it is that I'm doing, but I'm doing it with the energy of someone who's tripped and is making a career out of the fall. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the minimum resistance principle. Now, I'm going to be super honest with you. I don't know if this is like an actual scientific principle. I'm just making things up, but it sounds really good, so I'm going to keep going with it. But the idea behind the minimum resistance principle is that the more complicated something is, the least likely you are to do it or to continue doing it, right? And this is not laziness. I don't want you to feel like you're lazy because you're putting something off. It's just how humans work. Complexity is the enemy of consistency. So if there are way too many steps in your process, especially something that you do every day or something you do every other day or multiple times a week or something that you're trying to knock out once per week or something like that, you will eventually stop. And the goal, especially when you are starting a new business, is to make your processes as frictionless as possible. I want to take a moment to talk about the mental load of tasks. There are times where if something you know you're about to do is annoying because it is so complicated to do, you are already exhausted brain-wise before you've even set out to do the task. So if you're already feeling like, "Oh my God, I have to do this thing and it's just so ridiculous to do." And I'm not talking about like doing a video and showing up for social media, that's like confidence stuff, right? I'm talking about the mental load of doing something because there are just way too many steps there. You're dreading doing it because it just requires so much effort. Now, I do want to set some Herculean tasks to the side that are kind of one offs. And these are things like this is especially when you're starting your own business and you're wearing all the hats and you're doing all the things. When it comes to setting up your social media accounts, when it comes to setting up your website, when it comes to setting up like a link tree or a stand store or something like that, is available for people to find you on all the platforms. And when you're setting up shop, there are certain Herculean tasks that I am not including in this mental load because they're sort of necessary. So maybe you don't think you're good at website design or setting up a website and you just aren't looking forward to it because you know it's going to take you a while. I get that, and that truly does suck, but at the same time you only have to do it once. So it's just one of those things where I'm not talking about the one-offs. I am talking about like consistent stuff such as like batching videos for the week for your social media accounts, or maybe you write newsletters every day or whatever it is. That is something that is pretty much like a daily task or something you do multiple times per week or batch one day per week. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this mental load that just weighs on you before you actually do the task, where you're just like, oh my God, this is not going to work out because I'm already exhausted and I haven't even turned on my computer yet. That is the mental load that I'm talking about. So we're going to work through it today. If you guys have seen my videos before, you know I am all about the processes. I'm all about the streamlining. And yeah, I mean, here's an example for you. So when I first started this YouTube channel, I, I used to be a full-time travel photographer, but I also worked in a studio and I was doing my own stuff, for my business when I had initially started Tabitha Bear Studios. Um it truly was a studio, and I have all the lights, I have all the gear. And I was like, oh, starting a YouTube channel is going to be great because I have like all this stuff. I can shoot in 4K and 8K, and I have all the light setups, and I would shoot with purple lights, and I would shoot um, on my nicer cameras and all that kind of stuff. But man, did it suck. I hated doing my YouTube videos because I was like, this is way too complicated. There was way too much uploading. There was way too much airdropping and using my cloud storage. And that worked out great. So I got to clean that up because there's lots of videos in there. So there was just a lot going on. Plus, I wanted to edit it. And, I was suffering from a concussion. So it required a lot of cuts because I would like just kind of stop. My attention would get messed up. And so there was lots of editing that needed to happen. And my motion graphic and music are saved. So it's just like, I just pop it in there. Like, that's not something that's difficult at this point. But you see where I'm going with this? The task got really complicated. And I honestly was going to give up on YouTube because I was just like, why would I continue doing this? And then I was like, no, we like YouTube. I'm actually enjoying making the videos that I'm making. Even though they're going into the ether to a whole 28 subscribers and they're not really getting any views, I'm really enjoying this journey that I'm on. And I wanted to keep going, and I still want to keep going. So I was like, let's take a step back, let's audit the process, and let's remove steps and make this easier. So, you know what I do now? Record right into my photo booth using my webcam, using my podcast mic that's always hooked up to my computer anyway. And I just turn the one light on and we're good. We're golden. Records right into my desktop. I cut out a few times when I may start over or I lose my place or whatever in my train of thought. But that's it. So quickly record, quickly edit, throw it up on the upload, which usually that's the thing that takes the longest because I live in the middle of nowhere and my internet is awful, completely awful. That's the process that I changed, was just like not making it a complicated thing. And, this also goes to show me making it complicated used up so much of my cloud storage that I didn't realize that all these videos were still sitting in there, that I couldn't use my phone, I couldn't use my laptop, and I made it really complicated on myself further down the line that I couldn't do anything for traveling, which that's also on me for not checking that stuff. So just, every once in a while, check your cloud storage, folks. But I do want to show what this actually proves about the minimum resistance principle is that I'm aware of the principle. I made the thing up. At least I think I made the thing up. I'm calling it the minimum resistance principle, and I'm literally, no research has gone into me looking up the minimum resistance principle or data showing anything. So, which now that I think about that was maybe like hindsight's 2020, and I should have looked something up to be like, here are some statistics for you, but that's not my jam. So, um I already do enough research for my World Her Story brand, so I don't need to do additional research for this, which is meant to be just me riffing about business. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm so rambling. But anyway, what this actually proves is, the goal is not to be perfect, and that's okay. But it just goes to show that I'm really big about processes in place, but I'm also really big about streamlining those processes so they're not complicated for you. And I know about the minimum resistance principle because I think about that all the time. How can I make this easier on myself? And several complications arose this week, and it was a hard stop. No more posting videos, no more whatever. And me sitting there going like, it's too much. Like, my phone was down, my laptop was down, I had nothing else. So what do? You just don't do it. Plus, I was on the road, I had other things going on that I, previously committed to. So it's just one of those things where it's like, it goes to show the more complicated something is, the least likely you are to do it. And I didn't do it. And I do want to put out there that done is better than perfect. And I had every intention of showing up as done, not perfect. I mean, this is like another story for another time, but I was robbed in Costa Rica in 2019. Like my laptop, my passport, my money, my SD cards, my backup drives, like my whole backpack of gear because I was in the middle of transitioning from one city to another. Anyway, I bought a new laptop when I came back to the States, like as an emergency. I had quit my job at that point in time. I was a photographer full time, and I was like, well, I need a laptop. So I got what I could get at the time, what I could afford, and which included maxing out a credit card. But the thing is it wasn't the laptop I would have chosen had I been in a stable job at the time, and had I had the money to actually like invest in a really good laptop. I would have gotten something different that would have been able to process what it is that I needed to process. So, um, the webcam's terrible, the RAM is terrible, the hard drive is not the greatest in terms of storage, especially for someone who shoots in 4K and 8K and taking high res photos, and my jam was time lapses and panoramas, which there's lots of stacking and lots of photos being stitched together, and it's just one of those things that, like, for all this stuff, I didn't have the correct laptop for that. And I was still going to show up anyway. Like, you should have seen these videos. Like, they were very grainy because the webcam's so terrible. And I was trying to use my Rode wireless Go microphones, which were working out perfectly. There's nothing wrong with the microphones. But man, my laptop just could not handle it, and just it literally went, it did the whoop, like where it did, like the little circle came up, and it just went, no, done. You're absolutely done. So I really did plan on showing up as done better than perfect. And I want you to have that mindset as well, is that your audience would rather have you than have you show up perfect. I think I've done an episode about perfection before, and I'm going to touch on it again. When you aim for perfect, you are constantly changing the bar on yourself, because it's going to be, well, the sound quality isn't there for this. And then you'll, fix whatever sound issues you're having. And then it's, well, the video quality isn't good for this. Then you'll fix the video quality in some capacity. Well, this isn't good enough for this, and this isn't good enough for that. Don't fall into that trap. Done is better than perfect. So, what you want to do is, I'm going to do a 15-minute video today, and that's what I'm going to do. And that's sidetracking what it is that I'm saying about the minimum resistance principle. But it does apply in the sense that if you're constantly chasing perfection, you are also chasing resistance and complexity. So, don't do that to yourself. We're going for minimum resistance. Okay. Okay. I'm going to throw out there, when you first become an entrepreneur and you're kind of taking on a lot more tasks and doing a lot of different things in a more serious capacity, there's something I call habit stacking. Again, I'm not sure if this is a real term. I just make things up sometimes. But I call it habit stacking in the sense of, add tasks onto habits that already exist for you to kind of make it easier to integrate them. This also looks like batching, but like, if you're already making videos for one thing, then you make videos for another. If you're already editing for one thing, then you make edits for another. But the thing is like, you want to stack your habits in the sense of, let's say you're writing a blog post for your website, and you also have a newsletter, and you're also very active on LinkedIn. You could take pieces of your blog post and you can make pieces of posts for LinkedIn. You can make copy for your newsletter to get people to sign up, follow your blog, whatever. And while this is a form of batching, if you're integrating new things, like say you just were writing blog posts on your website and you were getting that backlog of information up on your website, but now you're ready to start a newsletter, start writing your newsletter while writing the blog post. Habit stack, right? It's like algebra, where you put similar values with each other, like 8x and 9x versus 3y and 10y, right? you want to put similar thing like items together so that this way it's a lot easier on yourself when you start integrating new tasks into the process. Or if you have simplified tasks and you know that you can do a couple of things together and batch them, you want to put like items together so that this way it's just a little bit easier to do. So I call it habit stacking. You could refer to it as batching, but I'm just kind of talking about in terms of creating new habits for new tasks. That's where the habit stacking comes into play. So do things that make it easier for you to integrate new tasks and new routines into your current routine. So let's talk about auditing your processes. Is it actually difficult to do, or are you just making it difficult to do? So go through your business tasks and just look at the thing that you dread doing the most. Again, if like me, you are not very good at showing up on video for social media, or you're just kind of like, oh my God, I look like this and I don't want to look like that. And if there's like a self-esteem confidence thing, I'm not going down that road right now. I'm talking about the processes itself. If it is easy for you to batch videos because you can knock out 15 in one day, that's amazing. If you can knock out 15 videos in one day, good for you. Even if they're like the 1 minute mark videos for Instagram or YouTube shorts, or what, honestly, if you knock out 15 videos in one day that are ready to go, good for you. That is fantastic. That's really good batching. But every unnecessary step is an exit point. It really is. So the more you put all this unnecessary work into something, the more you're likely to just French exit. You know what I'm saying? So audit your processes, especially the ones that you dread. If it's one of these things where, like, I have biweekly website maintenance, it's really just updating my plugins, just going through my Yoast SEO to see, because they update it all the time to adapt to like the Google search, and um it changes how my blog posts are read on the internet. So what used to be everything, if you use Yoast, everything is like a green bar and it tells you if it's good or needs improvement or is just in the red. And I go through and I'll update the posts that I need to adapt to the Google changes. Um and I really hate doing it because there's no um there's no rhyme or reason to me. They just update the algorithm, they change how things get searched, and AI has really made things complicated in terms of like what's quality content. And don't get me started because I love AI and I don't want to go down this road where it seems like I'm anti AI. But um it just goes to show that with all the changes going on out there, sometimes on my biweekly website maintenance, I have nothing to do. Maybe I have to update one plugin and call it a day. Or like recently, WordPress updated and then all my plugins needed to be updated, and then like 4 blog posts needed to be updated, and I just really wasn't looking forward to it, so I did put it off. And that's because I don't have a good process in place for when there are big changes, and that's a process I need to audit. Um it's one of these things where, like, if it's complicated, do I just hire out a freelancer, like maybe like every 2 months, or do I do it myself every 2 months, where like instead of biweekly, I look at it and go, listen, it's not a big deal. Your my blog is already crawled through the internet because it's existed for 10 years now, but it's one of these things where like I have to audit that process because I truly dread doing it when I see all the little red numbers and my orange and red lines in my SEO. I'm just like, oh God. And it's that dread that makes me go, my process is probably not great. It truly is, because the thing is, like, the blog posts are already written, the keywords are already there, everything is already set up, it's already published. Why is this so difficult? And that's what you need to do for the things that it is that you dread in your business, because we all have the things that we don't like to do. Now, there are things where you may not be good at doing. Um, and you just don't like to do them because you're not good at them and you can't afford to hire out help. And I totally get that. Just take your time with it and do the best that you can, like accounting. I hate accounting. I'm going to be totally honest with you. This is like a total ramble episode. It's a total ramble episode. So if you are still with me, bless you. Bless you. Okay, so most importantly, when we talk about streamlining your processes when there's minimum resistance for you, chances are you are creating less resistance to somebody saying yes to buying your product. So, as you can see, we finally got there. We got to the major point of making money and talking to your clients or having people buy from you. So, when I'm going to use another real world example of what Tabby did. So, when I decided to launch Hot Mess Triage, which I will talk about that too if you don't know what that is. When I decided to launch Hot Mess Triage, I was going to do it pretty manually because I was like, I'm only going to do it for a limited time. I'm only going to see how it goes. I don't want to make this like a big deal. And the thing is that by being super manual about a client coaching experience where somebody would have to like sign up through Calendly and then, you would get your link and it would go to Google or Zoom and then I was going to like manually follow up and then I was going to send you an invoice through Stripe and it was like I was suddenly using like 5 to 7 different programs. And I was like, no, 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 no. Because here's the thing. I want to have a good experience for myself, selfishly, with coaching because A, it's something I've never done. B, it's something I take seriously because I truly believe in coaches, especially when you vibe with someone, they can be very helpful to you. I have a coach. I love having a coach. I have a very good community because of my coach. So I would also want to give somebody an amazing experience with having a coach. So if I'm stepping into that role, which I am, shockingly, um, I know that if it is very difficult for me to go through those 5 to 7 programs to set up a call, to just set up a call, it's very difficult for you as my potential client to say yes to getting on a call with me. So I used my Stand Store. I linked it to my Zoom account. I have processes in place with like automatic stuff and just like a Google Forms, which is like a long questionnaire for whoever signs up for the call, whatever. So, but everything is automated. Everything is set up, it's automated. I don't have to do anything except for any type of follow up I would like to do afterwards and any conversations I would like to do afterwards. I feel really good about the process I have in place right now. I really do. Now, once things get rolling, I'll see where my process could be improved. But I know that if it's easy for me, it's easy for you to say yes to me. And that's something that you want, right? You want to make money if you're running your own business. And I know that we all get weird talking about money, but yes, I want you to buy from me. Yes, I hope that you find value in what it is that I provide. And it's just easier to make it easier to say yes, right? So you streamline your processes for you, it streamlines the processes and process to saying yes for your clients or customers or guests or however it is you refer to your audience. There definitely are free and low cost tools out there that you can utilize to help you on your entrepreneur journey. Canva has a free account. Calendly is free. Your Google Forms. I find that most businesses are using Google. Like whether you start out with an at Gmail or you have like an at here's my website.com email, most people are using some type of Google Suite workspace thing. So you get so many tools with Google, such as Google Meet and, the forms, and you can automate things and you can set stuff up with Calendly to automate things. And this, I truly am a firm believer in the Stand Store. I love it. It's made so like my life so much easier to put everything in one spot, and it's made it easier to make money. Like I'm just going to be super honest about that. So like if you're looking for a platform, I truly believe in the power of Stan Store. But it's one of those things where it's also $29 a month, and the upgraded plan is $99 a month. So not everybody has that cash on hand, and I totally get that. So if you're already paying for like a Google Workspace for your business, I would say utilize what Google has because they have so many options available and they're adding stuff all the time. So just see what it is that is available to you to use if you're on like a very strict budget. But there are options out there to streamline your processes with what it is that you have. So don't be afraid to just sit down for an hour one day and go, you know what? What exactly is it that I'm paying for here? Let me see all the stuff that it is that I have. So, you know, streamline your processes for yourself, audit your processes for yourself. I talk about processes and systems all the time on here. Make it easy for you to be able to be an entrepreneur. Don't make it overcomplicated. You're already wearing so many hats. You are doing so much. And I see you and you're doing a great job. I just want to say that right now. You're doing a fantastic job. But why would you make it more complicated than it has to be? Being an entrepreneur is already difficult because you are a solo team doing all the stuff: CEO, founder, creator, video editor, publisher, writer, storyteller, you know, you're your own audio team, and you're your own website designer and your own graphic designer and this, that, and the other. You're doing all these things. Why would you not want to put processes in place so you have minimum resistance when it is that you're doing things, right? So don't get caught up in that being an entrepreneur has to be complicated processes. It's just we do a lot of stuff. So now that my lots of rambling episode about resistance is coming to a close, I do want to talk about Hot Mess Triage. This is something that I have launched recently because of you guys. I received some DMs on LinkedIn and some DMs on Instagram asking if I would open up my calendar to talk about business, your business, and be your coach. This is something I'm trying for a limited time just to see how it goes for you and to see how it goes for me and if it's something that we both enjoy doing. As of right now, like I said, I truly believe in the power of coaches, and it's something that I take very seriously because I have a coach who's done so much for me that I know that there's a lot that I have to offer that I could do so much for you too. So, Hot Mess Triage is open for a limited time. My calendar is open. It goes about 30 days out. I usually meet on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So those are the times I have available for booking. I am on the East Coast time zone of the United States. So my hours right now are like 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., which I did have one person reach out from Asia. Hey, how are you? And a couple people on the West Coast of the United States. So I really hope that my availability suits your time zones. If for whatever reason that is an issue, just please feel free to message me on Instagram and we can work something out. I don't want you to feel like you are constrained to what it is that my availability is. I'm very flexible, so I'm happy to make adjustments, but I just did what I thought I could do for the time being. So I hope to see you there at Hot Mess Triage, where we will discuss your business and go through and get you started. This is for day one entrepreneurs. This is not for someone like me who's had their business for 10 years and is just looking for maybe like how to make their next million or something like that. That I'm not for you. I'm going to be completely honest about that. I'm here to help people who are just getting started, or maybe you started your business like 10 years ago and dropped off after like a year and now you're getting back into it, and like everything is just completely different. So I'm here for you guys. I really am. So I really hope to see you in Hot Mess Triage. I'm happy to talk about anybody's business. I love learning what people are doing out there because everybody's just so freaking creative. It's just so awesome to see what it is that people are putting together out there and like passionate about, and you know, supporting their lives, their lifestyle, their families, whatever, off of their passions. Like, I just love seeing that stuff. So, hopefully, I can see you in Hot Mess Triage so we can talk about your business. And Yeah, I hope this rambling episode has been enjoyable for you because I feel like it's very noticeable that I have ADHD today. I think it's in full swing. It's in full swing. It's just going crazy. It's just going nuts. It's going crazy. But thank you so much for watching. Please like this video. Please subscribe if you enjoy my ramblings about minimum resistance principles. And I will see you guys definitely tomorrow.